Hello dear students, welcome back to the English class. Today I shall continue with the poem The Wind and the Moon written by George Macdonald. Remember children, I have covered the first half of this poem in our previous session. I hope you have viewed the video The Wind and the Moon Part A. So today let's conclude this particular poem. Let's get started. The Wind and the Moon by George Macdonald, Part B. Let's do a quick recap of what we have covered in our previous session. Students, please open page number 85 of your textbook. Yes, let's discuss what we have covered so far. The Wind and the Moon has been written by George Macdonald. Who are the two main characters? The two main characters are the wind and the moon. So what is the wind trying to do? He's trying to blow the moon out of the sky. And why is he trying to do so? Because he thinks the moon is staring at him and the wind does not like to be stared at. So he's angry with the moon and is trying to blow the moon out of the sky. Whereas the moon is least bothered of what is happening, is not even aware of the wind's presence or what the wind is trying to do. So in this poem, the wind is shown as a fierce, arrogant character, whereas the moon is shown as a very calm moon, calm and peaceful. Now what happens is, as the wind tries to blow the moon becomes smaller and smaller in size. But this is actually the normal phases of the moon. From the bright moon, it becomes smaller and smaller till it becomes a crescent moon. So when it becomes a crescent moon, the wind thinks that he has been successful in making the moon grow smaller in size, and then he thinks that with one more mighty blow, he will be able to crumble that thin thread of moon into powder. So that till here we had covered last video. Let's continue further. So now let's continue with the second half of the poem. Please read along with me. He blew a great blast and the thread was gone. In the air, nowhere was a moonbeam bare. Far off and harmless, the shy stars shone, sure and certain that the moon was gone. So when the moon is a crescent moon, the wind thinks that with one mighty blow, he would be able to blow it into a powder. And he does try that. He gives one great mighty blow. And soon that thin crescent moon disappears. Actually, that is the normal phase of the moon, right? So suddenly the moon disappears. As you all know, the no moon day, right? So suddenly the moon disappears and the moon is not to be seen anywhere in the sky, and only the stars are seen. The shy stars are seen shining in the sky. And so the wind thinks that he has been successful in blowing the moon totally out of the sky. The wind he took to his revels once more, on down in town like a merry mad clown. He leaped and hallooed with whistle and roar. What's that? The glimmering thread once more. So now the wind is so happy and so he starts reveling. Reveling means celebrating loudly. Okay, like a merry mad clown, like a joker, he goes around announcing to everyone that he has been successful in blowing the moon out of the sky and that he is mighty and powerful. So he goes reveling, he goes celebrating, rejoicing loudly like a merry mad clown. He leaped means he jumped, and hallooed with whistle and roar. That means everywhere he goes about whistling and roaring, announcing of his great victory. But then suddenly he screams, what's that? The glimmering thread once more. Now again the crescent moon appears. He flew in a rage, he danced and blew, but in vain was the pain of his bursting brain. For still the broader the moon's crab grew, the broader he swelled his big cheeks and blew. Now suddenly the moon sees the wind sees the moon appearing in the sky in a crescent shape. So the wind suddenly becomes angry. Flew in arrangements, he gets very angry. First, he thinks he has been successful in blowing the moon out, but suddenly now he sees the moon reappear, and so now he suddenly gets angry. That is, he flew in arrangements, he becomes very angry. Okay, so then what he tries to blow he swells his cheeks bigger and bigger so that he can give a mighty blow. But what happens? The more he blew, the more larger in size the moon grew. Okay, so that is the normal phase of from the crescent. Now it is growing into a full moon, right? So the moon size is increasing. So now what happens? This time, as the wind is blowing, the size of the moon is increasing. It is becoming larger and larger. As you can see here, slowly she grew till she filled the night and shone on a throne in the sky alone, a matchless, wonderful, silvery light, radiant and lovely, the queen of the night. So what happens? Slowly now the moon has become a full moon and it is brightly shining high up in the sky, as though it's like a queen sitting on a throne up in the sky. It's radiant and lovely. Said the wind, what a marvel of power am I! With my breath, good faith, I blew her to death. First blew her away right out of the sky, then blew her in. What strength have I? But the moon, she knew nothing about the affair. So now what the wind is thinking, that he has got the power to blow the moon in and out of the sky. In the first half of the poem, we saw how as the wind blew, the moon size becomes smaller. It became smaller and smaller. And now in the second half as of the poem, we see how as the wind blows, the moon size goes on increasing till it becomes a full moon, a radiant bright moon high up in the sky. So the wind is thinking that all this is because of the wind. That means the wind has got the power to make the moon grow dimmer or smaller in size or larger in size. So he thinks that he has got the power to blow the moon out of the sky and again get it back into the sky. So he thinks, he marvels at his own power. He thinks is very powerful. Let's read further. But the moon, she knew nothing about the affair, for high in the sky with the one white eye, motionless miles above the air, she had never heard the great wind blare. Now while all this is happening, the moon is not at all aware of what the wind is doing or thinking. The moon is following his own pattern of growing from a crescent moon and into a full moon, and then again from a full moon becoming dimmer and becoming smaller in size, and finally into a crescent moon. So it's all following its own pattern, and so it's not at all aware of what the wind is doing or trying to do, because the moon is high up above in the air. It's totally unaware of what the wind is thinking. So that's all. We have completed this poem. So we see how the poet has been imaginative. He has made the wind and the moon as characters who are able to think. So the wind is shown as an arrogant, rude character, angry character, and the moon is shown as a peaceful and calm moon. Students, I hope you have understood this poem. Yes, right? Let me ask you questions. Before that, let's do the meanings. Revels means celebrating loudly. Hallowed is greeted. Leaped is jumped. Glimmering means sparkling. Swelled means grew larger in size. Radiant is bright. Motionless means without motion or without moving, not moving. Blare means unpleasant loud noise. Some phrases. What a marvel of power am I means I am so very powerful. This is said by the wind, right? Flew in a rage means got very angry. So we have covered the meanings too. So let me ask you questions. Is the moon aware of what the wind is thinking or trying to do? Answer: no. The moon is not at all aware. Who is referred to as Queen of the Night? Yes, students? Yes, the radiant bright full moon is referred to as the Queen of the Night because it's radiant, bright and high up in the sky, shining brightly in the darkness of the night, and she fills the night with the radiant beams of light. Who says this? What a marvel of power am I? The wind says this. And why does he say that? Because he thinks that he has the power to blow the moon in and out of the sky. So he thinks he is very powerful. So he is marveling at his own power. What is the wind reveling about? What is he celebrating about? The wind is celebrating because he thinks that he has been successful in blowing the moon out of the sky. Why does he fly in a rage again? Why does the wind fly in a rage again? Why does he become angry? The wind flies in a rage again because he sees the moon reappear in the sky. What is the meaning of leaped? Answer is jumped. Hallowed means greeted. Motionless means without any motion. Radiant is bright. Swelled is grew larger in size. I am so very powerful. What a marvel of power am I? It means I am so very powerful. Who said this? The wind. Flew in a rage means got very angry. So students, we have completed this poem. I have explained every stanza. Please go through the entire poem. Try to read it. Understand every stanza. View the videos A and B so that you can understand every line of this poem and also learn all the meanings. Continue with your reading practice. Thank you students for watching and for participating. Thank you and God bless you all. Take care all of you.